The message pulsing on the phone screen sent ice through my veins. Babe, don't come home tonight. I'm at the hotel waiting for you. Sender, Chloe, my best friend. Receiver, Ethan, my husband of 3 years. I stared at the pop-up on Ethan's phone, trembling so hard I could barely grip the thing. In the living room, he was taking a call, voice soft in a way I'd never heard. Chloe, don't panic. I'm on my way. What? Serena's back. I thought she was out of town. Relax. I'll handle it. He hung up, turned, saw me on the stairs, and went white. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Serena, when did you get back? I came down each step like I was driving nails. 3 years ago, I'd walked away from my family's Manhattan-based empire to play the little woman backing his dream. Today his startup was worth 9 figures, and I was the joke of the century. Ethan, explain this. I tossed the phone at his feet. He glanced, then smiled. Serena, you're overthinking. Chloe just needs me for work. Work that happens in a hotel? She just flew into JFK. Jet-lagged. The suite's convenient. He moved in for a hug. Baby, how can you doubt me? I stepped back. So you're still going? Of course, it's business. Stop spiraling. You know you're my world, right? I watched the performance. My heart ashes. Fine, go. He blinked, surprised. Okay, I'll be late. When the door shut, I collapsed on the couch. 3 years married and I hadn't noticed when the man I loved became this stranger. My phone buzzed. Chloe, Serena, you're back from the trip? She sounded breathless. Just walked in. I've got something urgent tonight. Can't hang out. What kind of urgent? Work stuff. Super last minute. I gave a cold laugh. The same work Ethan's doing? Silence. Finally she whispered. Serena, do you know that my best friend is sleeping with my husband? Yeah. I just got the memo. Serena, let me explain how you two hooked up behind my back. Or when you plan to clue me in. I hung up, grabbed my car keys, and headed for the hotel she'd named. Hilton Midtown, room 1203. I stood outside, drew one slow breath, and swiped the key the front desk had happily given across. Inside, Ethan and Chloe were tangled together. They spun toward the click of the lock. Serena, Ethan shoved Chloe away. How did you? I saw the scene and felt 3 years of marriage implode. Chloe in black lace, makeup camera ready. Ethan, my groom, half unbuttoned. Don't stop on my account. My voice was calm, terrifyingly so. Serena, it isn't what you think, Chloe blurted, cheeks flaming. Oh, so you workshop quarterly reports in lingerie? I shut the door and leaned against it. Please, enlighten me. Ethan stepped closer. Can we talk? Just us? About when it started? Or about your exit strategy? His face hardened. Divorce? Shocked. Afraid you'll miss the Vance pipeline? Yes. I'd walked from the throne, but I'm still a Vance. Every major contract Ethan brags about rode on my surname. Serena, what are you implying? He snapped, suddenly furious. I married you, not your money. Love? I pointed at the bed. That's how you show it? Chloe rose, defiance replacing shame. Let's quit pretending. Serena, Ethan stopped loving you ages ago. He loves me. We've never really stopped. While you chased boardrooms, we were together. A sledgehammer to the chest. 3 whole years. Tell me when, I said. Chloe smirked. 1 month before your wedding. I'd been juggling venues, menus, guest lists, gone dawn to dusk while they rehearsed their own vows. You know what he was thinking at the altar. Me. She tossed her hair. Your wedding night. He couldn't touch you because he wished you were me. The memory of his cold shoulder that night, now crystal clear. Then why didn't you run off together? I asked. Ethan answered. Because your family has money. 5 syllables. Sharper than glass. So the vows were a transaction? At first, he admitted. No remorse. Later I kind of felt something. But when Chloe came back I knew where my heart is. I closed my eyes. Breathed. Opened them. Ice calm. Understood. I turned to leave. Ethan caught my wrist. Where are you going? Home to pack. Tomorrow. Manhattan Family Court. Wait. His fingers tightened. The shares. The investments. Those are mine. I earned them. I laughed until tears fell. Shall we do the math? 12 million seed. 8 million equipment. Every VIP introduction. Without Vance you'd still be a middle manager at a Chicago firm. He flushed. You gave those freely. To my husband. Time to claw them back. I yanked free. 9 a.m. Bring every financial statement. Outside. Night wind dried the tracks on my cheeks. 3 years of devotion. Worth 0. But the first round had just begun. Ethan. Chloe, congratulations. You're about to learn why crossing Serena Vance is a career-ending move. Next morning my attorney rang. Vance, the archive you forwarded is fascinating. Catherine Lee, Pitbull in Pearls, unbeaten in New York divorce court. Win rate? I asked. 90%. Ethan's company belongs to you on paper already. All night I'd mined 3 years of due diligence. Columbia MBA, magna cum laude, Did they really think I'd play ostrich? To them I was the clueless trophy wife. In reality, every dollar the firm burned was logged in my cloud. Execute. I hung up. Chose silk jacquard for the hearing. First day of freedom deserves good tailoring. 9 sharp. Manhattan Family Court. Ethan waited. Face gray. Serena. We can still fix this. 3 years. Exactly 3 years you lied. You love Chloe. Remember? He winced. Papers clutched like a life raft. The clerk approached. Petitioners. Statements of net worth. Please. I slid my folder across. Ethan hesitated. What now? I asked. Can we discuss division privately? Statutory rules are fine. The clerk frowned. Cross. Your equity documentation is irregular. How irregular? Ethan croaked. Per this cap table, Cross Innovations holds 51%. You hold 49. He spun on me. What did you do? Little shrug. Stated the facts. Impossible. I produced the promissory note. 3-year loan from Vance Corp. Missed repayment triggers convertible collateral. Here are the delinquencies. Another folder. Board resolutions ratifying the swap. Signed by you, yes. He'd been desperate for expansion capital. I dressed it as a routine loan. He signed without reading. Arrogance has a price. You set me up. Courts call it due diligence. You call it betrayal. Cute. The clerk continued. Per community property precedent, the minority share splits equally, minus personal debt allocation. Translation, I smiled. You leave with 12.25%. Less your share of liabilities. What liabilities? Ethan whispered. 8 million to Bank of America. 6 to suppliers. Your slice, 35% of 14. And, I added, Vance Corp has first call rights on any divestiture. Current valuation puts your net payout near 0. Ethan collapsed onto the plastic chair. This can't be real. Reality hurts. But hey, you've got Chloe. And probably a Brooklyn futon. Stamp, seal, signature, single again in under an hour. Outside, sunlight tasted like champagne. Ethan's voice cracked behind me. Serena, you'll regret this. I kept walking, heels clicking the marble like a victory drum. I waved without looking back. Bye. Bye. My ex-husband. The moment I slid into the car, my phone rang. Chloe. Serena, you've gone too far, she hissed. Fury crackling down the line. Too far. What exactly did I do? How could you treat Ethan like this? He loves you. And you took every penny. I almost laughed out loud. Chloe, are you delusional? He loves me. Then who was in his hotel room last night? That's only because your marriage was rocky. Ethan needed comfort. Oh, so cheating is suddenly my fault? Serena, you're divorced now. Let him go. He's lost everything. What more do you want? I started the engine. Chloe, you want him. He's all yours, a penniless man. Wish you both every happiness. Serena. I hung up, feeling fantastic. That afternoon I met a few girlfriends for high tea at a Fifth Avenue cafe. Serena, you look amazing, Sophia said, grinning. Heard you got divorced? Yep. Ethan's scum. And Chloe, textbook two-faced bitch. Serena, you did the right thing. Nail them. Mid-gossip. Mia's face froze. Serena, look over there. I followed her gaze. Chloe sat cozily in the corner with a man. Way too intimate. Who's the guy? I asked. Sophia snapped a photo and zoomed in. Looks like her boss, Richard Hale. Richard, the married one with kids in Connecticut? That's him. We exchanged glances. Mia whispered. You think Chloe's hooking up with him too? I studied them. Their body language screamed affair. Definitely not professional. An idea popped into my head. You girls keep sipping. I'm hitting the restroom. I strolled past their table. Chloe? I feigned surprise. She blanched. Serena. What are you doing here? Having tea with friends. I turned to the man. And you are? Richard stood, offering a handshake. Richard, nice to meet you. Serena Vance, I said, shaking. A friend of Chloe's. He looked nervous. Chloe's friend, working late. Richard, must be tough discussing projects after hours. I smiled sweetly. Chloe jumped in, flustered. Why? Yeah. Just work stuff. Don't let me interrupt. I stepped away, then pivoted. Oh, Chloe, how's Ethan? When's the big day? Chloe turned crimson. H hasn't been set. Richard's expression soured as he glanced between us. I walked off, pleased. Clearly Richard had no idea Chloe still had Ethan, and Chloe had no clue I'd clocked her little arrangement. Interesting. Chloe's juggling 2 men. Crafty. Back at our table Sophia pounced. Well, get the popcorn ready, I said, sitting. Our girl Chloe is way more fun than I thought. Next Next morning my doorbell yanked me awake. Through the peephole, Ethan. Haggard, eyes swollen, obviously no sleep. I opened up. Need something? Serena. Can we talk? Desperation dripped from every word. We're done talking. I moved to shut the door. Wait. He jammed his hand against the frame. I know I messed up. Can we start over? I snorted. Start over. So you dumped Chloe? He hesitated. I'll handle that. Handle it? I pried his hand away. How many times must I say it? We're divorced. Strangers. But Serena, I realize I still love you. Love me? I almost laughed. You loved my family's money. Now that the coffers are closed, you remember my virtues? He flushed scarlet. Bullseye. Realized what? That without Vance, you're nothing? I studied him. Curious. By the way, does Chloe know you're here? He avoided my gaze. She doesn't. So sneaking behind her back again? I shook my head. Ethan, betrayal is practically your brand. Serena, save it. I'm busy. As I swung the door, yesterday's cafe scene flashed back. Oh, did you know Chloe's super tight with her boss Richard Hale? Ethan blinked. Richard. Which Richard? Richard Hale, 40-something, wife and kids in Connecticut. His face darkened. What are you implying? Nothing. Just curious. I shrugged. Saw them yesterday in the cafe. Looked cozy. He grabbed my arm. Serena, explain. How cozy? I shook him off. Not my circus. Not my monkeys. I slammed the door. Through the wood I heard him speed dial. Chloe, where are you? What work? Another late meeting with Richard? I'm coming right now. Footsteps faded. I grinned. Let the dogs fight. At lunch I met college pal Leo, now a partner at a litigation firm handling corporate brawls. Serena, nice work, he said, skimming the dockside brought. Ethan deserves zero pity. Leo, I need a favor. Shoot. I recounted yesterday's coffeehouse drama. Dig up whatever links Chloe and Richard Hale. He pondered. Easy. But why bother? You're divorced. Curiosity, and Chloe's, trashed me for 3 years. Time the world saw her true colors. You'll have it by tomorrow. Evening. TV humming. My cell rang. Unfamiliar number. Hello? Serena. Richard Hale here. I raised an eyebrow. Hale. How'd you get my number? Chloe gave it to me. His tone was ice. We need to talk. About? Chloe's life is none of your business. Leave her alone. I played dumb. I think you've got the wrong idea. We're just friends. Why would I meddle? This afternoon a man named Ethan barged into my office claiming Chloe's his girlfriend. He said you tipped him off. I sounded wounded. Really? All I did was mention bumping into you two at the cafe. Pure small talk. Whatever your game is, stop dragging Chloe into it. Hale, you're misinformed. I paused for effect. Ethan is Chloe's boyfriend. I'm his ex-wife. We signed divorce papers yesterday because he cheated with her. Silence. Pardon? His voice could freeze fire. Exactly what I said. Sweet innocence layered every word. Long pause. Hale, still there? Yes. Frost coded his reply. Thank you for the clarification. I hung up and burst out laughing. Richard hadn't known about Ethan. Chloe had sold him a single girl story. Now the truth was loose. Let's see her squirm. Sure enough, within 30 minutes Chloe called, voice quaking with rage. Serena, what the hell? What do you mean? Why did you tell Richard about Ethan? I didn't. He phoned me, upset that Ethan stormed his office. I answered honestly. You did it on purpose. Chloe, get your facts straight. You're the one two-timing. Don't blame me when it blows up. I'm not two-timing. No. Then define your relationship with Richard. And why does your boss have my number? She sputtered. Can't have both. Chloe, pick a lane. I ended the call. Blissful. Let the three of them duke it out while I grabbed popcorn. Next morning Leo emailed his findings. Reading the dossier, I had to admire Chloe's talent. Turns out she and Richard started a year ago. He was ready to divorce for her. While milking his love and wallet, she kept stringing Ethan along. Richard had created a cushy job for her at his Boston-based firm, $3K a month for sipping tea and shopping. Meanwhile naive Ethan believed she was some pure maiden and dumped me for her. I decided to toss another match. I texted Ethan. Heard you caused a scene at Richard's office? Instant reply. You told Richard about Chloe and me? He called asking questions. I told the truth. Is that illegal? Or is your relationship shameful? Silence. Then, how much does Chloe make at his company? $3,000 a month. Fresh grad. Tiny firm. What job pays that for zero output? And she basically never shows up. Just malls and latte runs. Ethan, doesn't that strike you as odd? I powered the phone off. Let Ethan figure it out himself. That afternoon I went to the spa for a facial and ran straight into Richard's wife, Madeline. Madeline was one of the society darlings in our circle, sweet, just a little too naive. Serena, long time no see. Madeline greeted me warmly. I heard you got divorced? Yep, just finalized. That Ethan was never worth keeping. Good riddance. Madeline pulled me down beside her. Promise you'll get out more from now on. don't hole up at home. Will do. I hesitated, then asked, Madeline, how are things with Richard lately? Her expression dimmed. Same as always. His career keeps him busy. He rarely comes home to Connecticut. I put on a sympathetic tone. Ambition's admirable, but he needs to watch his health. True. Madeline sighed. Still, he's been odd, coming home late, saying it's just business dinners. He used to tell me who and where. Now he says nothing. My pulse quickened. Business dinners? With whom? No idea. He won't say. Madeline gave a bitter smile. He used to share every detail. I patted her hand. Men get like that. Try not to overthink. She nodded, worry still clouding her eyes. I wrestled with myself, then decided she deserved the truth. Madeline was good people. Madeline, I might know what Richard's been up to. She turned. What do you mean? I saw him at a cafe the other day, very cozy with a young woman. Madeline's face blanched. What girl? Chloe, one of his employees. I feigned reluctance. I could be misreading it, so it's okay. Tell me. Her voice shook. Early 20s. Very pretty. They sat close, talking softly, and I paused. He held her hand. Madeline went paper white. Serena, you're sure? I'm sure. I know the girl. I exhaled. Madeline, maybe you should have someone look into it. She sat silent, then nodded. Thanks for telling me. Watching her fight back tears stung, but the truth would surface sooner or later. Better she hear it now. That night Madeline hired a private investigator. I spent the evening at home, nursing a glass of red, waiting for the show. 3 days later, the predicted explosion arrived. The PI produced photos and hotel receipts documenting Richard's affair with Chloe, stays at Boston Marriott and New York Plaza. Madeline stormed his office and screamed at him in front of the entire staff. The night before, Ethan had confronted Chloe. My source said he demanded to know why her salary was so high and what she really was to Richard. Chloe tried to lie, but Ethan had done his homework. She admitted the affair. They fought. Ethan walked out in fury. After Madeline's office showdown, Richard fired Chloe on the spot. Now Chloe had lost both Ethan and Richard, money and man. Gone. I was watching TV when the doorbell rang. It was Chloe. Eyes swollen. Hair a mess. She looked wrecked. You happy now? She barged in, glaring. Happy about what? I stayed calm. Stop pretending. You orchestrated this. She jabbed a finger at me. You told Ethan. You sicked Richard's wife on me. I arranged nothing. I rose. When did I ever set anything up? Then why tell Ethan about my salary? Why tell his wife about us? Because they asked. Ethan wondered why you were paid so much. I told him the truth. Madeline noticed her husband's strange behavior. I repeated what I saw. Did I say anything false? Chloe was speechless. I went on. You two timed them. And when it blew up you blame others? Reasonable? I just wanted a better life. She sobbed. You rich people don't understand how hard it is. A better life? I sneered. So you trample hearts and wreck marriages? I didn't wreck anything. Really? Richard was ready to divorce for you? That's not wrecking a home? And when you seduced Ethan, we were still married. What's that called? Chloe had no answer. I felt a wave of disgust. What's the point of coming here? Face what you've done. She dropped to her knees. Serena, please help me. I was wrong. I shouldn't have stolen your man or betrayed you. For old time's sake, find me a job. Please. I stared at her, unmoved. Stand up, I said. We stopped being friends the moment you climbed into my husband's bed. As for a job, figure it out yourself. I walked to the door and opened it. Leave. Don't come back. She wanted to plead, but I held the door wide. Out. With a last desperate glance she rose and stumbled away. I shut the door and drew a long breath. Stage 1 of revenge. Complete. But it wasn't enough. I wanted them to learn the full price of betrayal. 3 days after Chloe's visit, Leo called. Serena. Juicy news. Tell me. Ethan's being sued. Investment fraud. I blinked. Fraud? Yeah. A former partner claims he falsified assets to pocket investor money. Unexpected, Ethan's troubles were deeper than I'd thought. How bad? Cases filed in New York Supreme Court. Trials imminent. If he loses. Criminal liability. I hung up, conflicted. I hated him, yet never imagined prison. Still, he'd sown this wind himself. That afternoon I attended a business mixer in downtown Manhattan and met a man named Adrian, 30-something repatriated investor. Polished and handsome. Vance. Newly divorced. I hear. He lifted his glass with old-world courtesy. Correct. I smiled. Mr. Adrian Cole. News is currency in our world. He chuckled. What puzzles me is how a woman of your caliber ever chose someone like Ethan. Surprised. I asked. You know Ethan? He pitched me months ago. Wanted capital. I passed. Disdain flickered across his face. His book smelled. And, small detail, Vance Corp actually controlled his firm. I wondered why. Now I see. Because of you. I gave a wry smile. Busted. Rumor says Ethan's in free fall. company gone, fraud suit underway. All true, I admitted. Adrian's eyes glinted. Care to deliver the coup de grace? Meaning, I hold enough dirt to bury his reputation for good. He swirled his drink. Publicize it and he's finished. Why help me? Simple, admiration. And I despise men like him. What do you need? Partner with me. We launch a fund targeting his old niche. With Vance muscle and my wallet. We monopolize the space. Even if Ethan survives court, he'll find the market closed. The offer was lethal and irresistible. Deal. Adrian's grin was razor sharp. We draw papers tomorrow. Back home I weighed his motives. They felt murkier than charity. But our aims aligned for now. Next morning we set the plan in motion. We incorporated Horizon Capital, 60% mine, 40 his. Backed by Vance Capital. The gears turned fast. Adrian poached Ethan's key staff and snatched major clients before competitors blinked. Meanwhile Ethan's trial opened. I sat in the gallery. He looked gaunt, eyes hollow. His lawyer tried valiantly, but documents damned him. After session he approached. Come to gloat, Serena, to see how the traitor fares. He gave a bleak laugh. Happy yet? Nowhere near. It's only begun. Color drained from his face. What more do you want? For you to understand the cost of crossing me. I turned away. Serena, you'll regret this, he shouted after me. I didn't look back. Regret. He betrayed me. Consequences are his alone. A month later the verdict, Ethan lost. Ordered to pay $3 million in damages plus legal penalties. Already broke. He was ruined. Worse. Horizon Capital had devoured his market. Clients and talent gone. Restart impossible. The news sent a dark thrill through me. At the same time, though, I began to worry about Adrian's real motives. This man had helped me take Ethan down. But was it only because he was interested in me? I decided to find a chance to test him. The opportunity came sooner than expected. A month later, during the company happy hour, Adrian drank more than usual and talked twice as much. Serena, do you know why I wanted to help you destroy Ethan? He slid into the seat beside me, eyes glassy. Why? I asked, feigning curiosity. Because I've wanted to trash him for years. His voice turned cold. 3 years ago a buddy of mine invested a couple million with him and ended up with nothing. My friend went bankrupt. His wife ran off with someone else. And he's still hiding overseas from creditors. I let the shock show. That really happened? It did. Ethan's nothing but a con man. Adrian's jaw clenched. He scams the people who trust him. Uses every trick to bleed them dry. You think you're the first woman he ever fooled? I went silent. So Ethan hadn't just betrayed me, he'd ruined plenty of others. When I heard how hard you'd wrecked him, I knew payback time had come. Adrian looked at me. Getting to work with you to finish him off is the best thing that's happened to me in years. Understanding his motive settled my nerves. What's our next step? I asked. Keep expanding the company until we cut off every escape route he has. Adrian said. I want him to understand that in this industry he'll never get back on his feet. I nodded agreement. The next morning an unexpected call woke me. Vance. It's Madeline. Madeline, what can I do for you? I need a favor. She sounded exhausted. About my divorce from Richard. I'd like you to testify. I blinked. Testify? Yes. Confirm that he cheated with Chloe. Her voice cracked. My lawyer says a third-party witness will get me a bigger settlement. I thought for a second. All right, I'll do it. Thank you, Serena. She sniffled. If you hadn't told me the truth, how much longer would I have lived that lie? Don't mention it. It's only right. After hanging up I wondered about Chloe. Since her last visit I hadn't heard a word. Out of curiosity I asked Leo to check on her. The update startled me. Chloe had already latched onto a new sugar daddy, a Miami club owner in his 50s, twice divorced. Clearly she hadn't changed. She was still trading her body for cash and comfort. I shook my head. Whatever sympathy I'd once had for Chloe had dried up. A week later Madeline's divorce hearing began. I took the stand and described, down to the date and hour, how I'd seen Richard and Chloe cuddling in the Fifth Avenue cafe. Richard's attorney tried to discredit me, but my timeline and details were airtight. In the end the judge ordered Richard to pay Madeline $30 million plus a luxury condo in Tribeca. Madeline wept with relief. Serena. Thank you. She hugged me fiercely. Without you I'd have been lost. You earned every penny. I patted her back. Live well and don't waste another tear on that man. Outside the courthouse I spotted Ethan. He was pleading with a middle-aged man. Desperation on his face. Raymond, just give me one more chance. I swear I'll pay. Ethan, you're 2 months behind and unemployed. The man snapped. How exactly will you pay? I'll figure something out, please. Raymond glanced around. Noticed onlookers. Anne scowled. 3 days. Ethan. After that, you know the consequences. He stalked off, leaving Ethan slumped on the steps. I walked over. So now you're borrowing from loan sharks? He looked up, emotions flickering. Serena. Come to gloat? Just passing by. I studied his haggard face, feeling something I couldn't name. How much? 50 grand. A bitter smile. Took it to fund the divorce fight. Can't repay it. Why not ask Chloe? Her. His expression soured. She's hooked up with some Miami club owner. Won't even answer my calls. I nodded. Figures. Ethan hesitated. Serena. I know I have no right, but you want me to clear your debt? I cut in. He nodded, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. I laughed. Ethan. Seriously? You betray me, dump me, and now that you're drowning you remember your ex-wife? Newsflash. Life doesn't work that way. The hope drained from his face. He hung his head. I know I'm shameless, but I'm out of options. Then find another one. I turned to leave, then paused. FYI, I've heard of Raymond. He plays rough. You'd better think fast. Over my shoulder I heard him call. Serena. I know I wronged you, but are you really going to watch me die? I didn't look back. Yes, I would watch him reap what he'd sown. That was the price of betrayal. 3 mornings later a phone call yanked me from sleep. Vance. Detective Carter here. I need you to cooperate with an investigation. What happened? I sat bolt upright. Ethan jumped from a building last night. He's in emergency surgery at NYU Langone. We found a suicide note that mentions you. I froze. He jumped. 6th floor balcony of his Brooklyn apartment. He's touch and go. I threw on clothes and raced to the hospital. Ethan was still in the OR. Detectives waited outside. Detective Carter greeted me. Vance, please read this. I took the note. The message was short. I, Ethan Cross, have done too much wrong and hurt too many people. Serena, I'm sorry I betrayed you. Mom and Dad, I've disappointed you. I see no way out. If I die, I hope Serena can forgive me. My emotions nodded. Vance, what was your relationship with the deceased ex-husband? I corrected. We divorced a month ago. Any idea why he'd take his life? I hesitated. Debt. Probably. He borrowed 50 grand from a loan shark named Raymond and couldn't pay. The detective jotted notes, asked a few more questions, then released me. I sat in the corridor, thoughts churning. I hated Ethan, but I'd never wanted him dead. Adrian hurried in. Serena, is it true Ethan jumped? He's still in surgery. I said, 6 floors, if he lives. It'll be a miracle. If he dies, Adrian murmured. Our revenge is complete. Dead men can't hurt anyone. I didn't answer. Logically, he was right. Yet it felt hollow. 5 hours later the surgeon emerged. He's stable, but his spinal cord is badly damaged. He may never walk again. I exhaled. At least he wasn't dead. The next afternoon Ethan woke. I stopped by his room. He lay flat, eyes widening when he saw me. Serena, you came. I pulled a chair to the bed. How do you feel? Can't feel anything below the waist. A wry smile. Doctors say I might be in this bed for life. I was quiet a moment. Why jump? I saw no other way out. Raymond sent muscle to convince me. They said if I didn't pay they'd break my legs. And now, any regrets? He met my gaze. Plenty, but not about jumping, about betraying you. Serena, only now do I realize how good you were to me. It's too late for that. I stood. Focus on getting better. Serena, wait, the 50 grand. Figure it out yourself. I walked out without looking back. Outside, emotions collided in my chest. Seeing him broken stirred something like pity, yet he dug this grave himself. That evening my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Vance. Raymond. Raymond. I answered coolly. Heard your ex jumped. If he croaks, my money's gone. That's not my concern. I disagree. Debts of spouses, ex-spouse. I cut in. We're divorced. His IOU is worthless to me. Think carefully. Vance. His tone turned menacing. I gave a thin laugh. Threaten me and I'll call the NYPD. I hung up and immediately dialed Leo. Find everything on a loan shark called Raymond, real name Raymond Wong. By noon the next day Leo had the file. Small-time kingpin in Queens. A dozen thugs. Known for baseball bat collection tactics. Serena. Keep a security detail, Leo warned. This guy's playbook is brutally simple. Thanks. I'm going on the offensive. I assigned Vance Court bodyguards to shadow me. Then phoned Raymond. Let's meet. Public place, to discuss Ethan's debt. He agreed eagerly. We chose a bustling downtown Starbucks. He brought 2 goons. I brought 2 guards. Vance, ready to pay up? Raymond leaned forward. No, I said, ready to negotiate. First, from now on you can't cause trouble for Ethan again. Second, I need you to do something for me. What kind of thing? I took out a file. Help me take somebody down. Raymond flipped through the pages. Chloe's information. Vance, did this woman offend you? She stole my husband and cost me a lot of money. I said coldly. I want her to pay. Raymond grinned. No problem. Teaching a woman a lesson is child's play for me. But, Vance, I don't want money. I have another request. What request? Hoping Vance Corp throws some legitimate business my way. He smiled craftily. I'd like to go clean. I considered. Fine, but it has to be legal. Of course. I know the rules. We shook on it. On the spot, I handed him $500,000 in cash to clear Ethan's debt. And Raymond promised to educate Chloe for me. I knew it was wrong, but the memory of Chloe's betrayal still made me decide she needed to suffer. A week later, I heard news about Chloe. Someone beat her up in a Miami club. She wasn't in mortal danger, but she spent several days in hospital. More importantly, her new sugar daddy dumped her because of the scandal. Now she was jobless again. I knew it was Raymond's handiwork, and a dark satisfaction churned inside me. At the same time, I began to examine what I'd done. Was I turning into someone who solves problems with fists? While I wrestled with that question, Adrian came to see me. Serena, I hear you hired someone to rough up Chloe? How did you find out? I asked, surprised. News travels fast. Adrian sat across from me. But I think you did the right thing. People like Chloe deserve punishment. I studied him and suddenly felt I was looking at a stranger. Don't you think I went too far? Too far. Adrian shook his head. Serena, you're too soft. In business, mercy equals stupidity. Ethan betrayed you. Chloe betrayed you. They both should pay. Now Ethan's paralyzed and Chloe's been taught a lesson. Fair is fair. I frowned. Adrian, I feel you've changed. I haven't changed. I'm helping you see reality. He reached for my hand. Serena, this world is brutal. Only the strong survive. I pulled away. I need time to think. That night I sat at home reviewing everything I'd done. I had succeeded, completely destroyed Ethan and Chloe. But was I happy? Hard to say. There was the fleeting high of revenge, yet also a hollow emptiness. What scared me more was realizing I'd grown cold, accustomed to fixing things with power and money. Was this really what I wanted? The next day I went to the hospital to see Ethan. His color was better, but he still looked haggard. Serena, why are you here again? Surprise flickered in his eyes. Came to see you. I sat beside the bed. Raymond Wong is settled. He won't bother you again. Ethan froze. You paid my debt for me? Why? Tears welled in his eyes. I betrayed you. Why help me? Looking at him, I felt jumbled. I don't know. Maybe I didn't want to watch you die. Serena, he choked out. I'm so sorry. Let the past stay past. I stood. Heal well. Walk the rest of your road on your own. Leaving the hospital, a sudden sense of release washed over me. Maybe revenge really doesn't deliver joy. True freedom might be letting go of hate and starting fresh. That afternoon I called Leo. Leo, dig up everything you can on Adrian Cole. Why? You think he's shady? Yeah. He doesn't feel as simple as he looks. On it. I'll get people on it right away. 3 days later Leo emailed me a thick file. After reading it I sucked in a sharp breath. Adrian was dirty, shockingly so. Turns out he was no venture capital prodigy. He was an international conman specializing in swindling rich women. He had multiple fraud convictions in Europe. He'd just flown to New York and was hunting new prey. I was his next target. Worse. His goal wasn't just money. It was control of Vance Corporation. He was plugged into several overseas syndicates planning to hijack Vance through me, then shift the assets offshore. Reading it sent a chill down my spine. Had I not found out, I'd have become his next victim. I called Leo immediately. Leo, call the FBI. Adrian Cole is an international fraudster. Got it. I'll set it up. After hanging up I collated every file from our cooperation. Thanks to my habit of caution, core control of the company had stayed in my hands. Adrian had gained little critical intel. Even so, I'd already lost a fair chunk of money. That night FBI agents arrested Adrian. In his Manhattan condo, they uncovered mountains of fraud evidence and blueprints for asset transfers. Watching the news, I exhaled in relief. Discovered in time, disaster averted. With Adrian behind bars my life finally regained calm. I left day-to-day operations to professional managers and began pondering my future. The past months had matured me and taught me truths revenge could never yield. Revenge doesn't bring real happiness. Hatred only warps the soul. The truly strong are those who can set the past down and begin again. A month later I received a letter from Ethan. In it he apologized in detail, owning every mistake. He said the ordeal had sobered him completely. He finally understood what truly mattered. Though he might never walk again, he vowed to spend the rest of his life atoning. After reading it I felt only peace. I no longer hated him, nor loved him. He had truly become history. Another month passed and word came that Chloe had left New York. She'd headed south to Atlanta, supposedly to start over. I hope she really does, and that she never walks the old road again. As for me, I chose to to redesign my life. I sold part of my Vance Corp shares and used the proceeds to launch a foundation that helps women who've been cheated or betrayed. I wanted my experience and resources to guide others out of darkness. At the same time, I tried new ways of living, learned to paint at the Met, took up yoga in Brooklyn, enrolled in psychology courses at Columbia. I wanted to become richer and fuller inside. In class, I met a man, also named Ethan, gentle and wise, a trauma therapist. We went from classmates to friends, from friends to lovers. He knew my past, but never judged. He simply stayed beside me. He made me believe in love again, believe in myself. Half a year later we married. The wedding was small, only our closest friends and family. To my surprise, one guest arrived in a wheelchair, Ethan Cross. He sat quietly in a corner. After the ceremony, he rolled over to offer congratulations. "Serena, I wish you happiness," he said sincerely. "You deserve the greatest love." "Thank you." I nodded. "Live well, too." "I will." He smiled. "I'm doing rehab at a facility in upstate New York. The doctors say some function might return." "That's wonderful." We chatted briefly. Then he left. Watching him roll away, I felt nothing but calm. The man who once made me burn with love and later with hatred had become just another passerby. Time truly is the best medicine. It heals every wound. Chapter 10. Married life is blissful. Ethan, my husband, is a wonderful partner, understanding, supportive, giving me the security I crave. We travel, study, grow together. My foundation has expanded, helping more and more women in need. Whenever I see them summon the courage to live again, my own pain feels meaningful. One day a letter arrived from Chloe. She wrote that she now runs a tiny flower shop in Atlanta and life is quiet. The past few years have shown her what real happiness is. She apologized for the wrongs she committed back then. After reading it, I replied, telling her I'd forgiven her and wishing her peace. Let bygones be bygones. Everyone deserves a fresh start. A year later, I became pregnant. Ethan was giddy, circling me daily, afraid I might trip. Pregnancy gave me hours to reflect. From naive girl to wounded woman, from avenger to reborn soul, each stage taught its lesson. Most important, I learned forgiveness, learned to let go, learned to love and be loved anew. Our baby was a girl. Gazing at her innocent smile, I vowed to give her the finest love and guidance, to raise her strong and kind. One afternoon, while strolling in Central Park with her, I spotted a familiar figure, Ethan Cross. He sat teaching a group of children to paint, still in his wheelchair but radiant. He noticed me and nodded warmly. "Serena, is this your daughter? She's adorable." "Thank you." I held her close. "What are you doing these days?" "I opened a community art class for kids in upstate New York," he said, smiling. "Doesn't pay much, but it's fulfilling." "That's wonderful." We exchanged a few words. Then each went our way. Watching him guide the children, I thought, perhaps everyone can find their own road to redemption. I have fully released past grudges. I have a loving husband, a darling daughter, a cause of my own. Life once knocked me flat, yet in the end I found my happiness. I tell myself that is enough. Life offers pain and joy, betrayal and love, hatred and forgiveness. What matters is not what happens, but how we face it, how we choose. I chose forgiveness, chose a new start, chose to believe in love, and so I gained genuine happiness. Those who once hurt me, may they, too, discover their own redemption. After all, life is too short to waste on hate. Love and forgiveness are life's most beautiful gifts. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more wonderful stories. See you next time.